hopefully this will be kind of short, since it's a kind of mashup between the shield charge Amazon build that I posted earlier and the armor explosion Titan.
Come get me!
So this one's kind of just a lot cleaner. You're cutting off a lot of the rough bits of scaling the crit, and you can also kind of consider it a fallback for the armor explosion Titan, in case that interaction gets nerfed. So rather than doing the whole poison corrosion kind of thing, you're just outright slamming resonating shield, breaking armor with that, and then that's proccing armor explosion, which is scaling the damage from a big two-handed mace, which we're getting through giant spark. Then we're also going Avatar Fire, so that when it comes to bossing, you can just rely on heavy ignites to deal with the rares. Didn't have to use the full combo there. Try to zip into the boss real quick, just so that you can get a look at that, and hopefully we'll just leave it there. It's strange. Not sure why that monster's not taking any ignite damage. Something that's kind of weird is since this game operates on what do you call it? Like, it's closer to a fighting game, or I guess Souls-like games, where the attacks have more fleshed out animation stages, I guess. Like, there's a wind-up, there's the hit, and then there's a... what's it called? The downtime after the attack. Huh, I forgot the term. It's been a bit since I played a fighting game. But yeah, the animation at the end of the attack, after the attack is actually hit, you can actually kind of cancel attacks in this game, which is kind of weird. It leads to some unintended interactions. For instance, with resonating shield is what I was getting to. Usually, if you squeeze your left click, it'll hit at this rhythm. But if you release right after the shockwave goes out, you can actually attack a lot faster. Because there I'm canceling the end lag. That's the word I was looking for. The end lag of the animation. If you cut it too short before the shockwave goes out, then you won't get the damage. But if you get the timing right, then yeah, you're hitting much faster than if you were waiting for the end lag. Which is weird. I don't know. It doesn't come up much anyways, since you're just slapping your shield once and then hopefully everything is popping. But I guess it's worth noting for the sake of avoiding your stagger bar building up too much. So yeah, you just get into the habit of releasing resonating shield after you've gotten your hit. Is this the boss? Yeah, okay, good. So yeah, much like the Ignite crossbow infernalist, we're doing the whole setup with solar orb, and we're also using infernal cry for more damage off the ignites. That's kind of what that looks like. It's alright. Like, my shield doesn't have the most amount of armor on it, so it could definitely be improved. And there's some damage scaling as well on the tree, but it's more than good enough, if you ask me.
Favors me.
So yeah, I'll finish the map later, as per usual. Let's just quickly breeze through all the interactions on this character. Um, so the gear. Using the mace, the increased elemental damage is actually good because it's kind of working as a stat stick for the shield charge, as is the extra levels for melee skills. And then it's got some decent damage mods for the sake of armor explosion. Then the rest is the usual life, resistances, um, flat physical damage. Flat fire damage is also very good. Like, flat elemental damage of other sorts is also decent. It'll get converted to fire, but the rate will be lower. And then this build is actually pretty attribute hungry, so if you can get some attributes along the way, then that'll be great. In terms of the gems, Resonating Shield is serving kind of as a wind dancer in this setup. So you're getting the whole armor explosion off of it. You don't need corrosion because this already breaks armor. And then you're scaling both the damage of the shield and the explosion with fire infusion. I got 2 support gems for more area. And if I had a 5th socket, then I don't know, like maybe elemental infusion, primal attacks. No, it can't be primal because it's a shield skill. Maybe elemental focus, yeah. Infernal Cry and Solar Orb are your setup for single target for shield charge, so the usual premeditation plus Raging Cry, and then Solar Orb with elemental exposure, strip away, and Arcane Tempo just to make it a little bit faster. Shield charge is where you're trying to get your ignite off of, so you've got Conk Effect and Close Combat for more damage, Searing Flame for more ignite damage, and then Eternal Flame so that the ignite sticks around longer. I couldn't find many spirit gems worth running in this build. It's kind of another aspect that's kind of weaker on strength builds, I guess. I suppose I could use with the War Banner, but yeah. Using Overwhelming Presence to make it more likely for the shield charge to stick its ignite, which should just happen inherently if you're dealing enough damage, so it's not that necessary. Herald of Ash for slightly better clear. It's sadly the worst of the heralds, so it doesn't come up very much, but we are scaling ignite, and we did have the spirit lingering around, so why not? Same goes for Magma Barrier. It's not very relevant for bosses or single target, but each time you Resonating Shield, you might get the proc. We had the spirit to spare, so that's that. I do want to mention very briefly that both the Ignite Infernalist with lightning skills and this character, I kind of wanted to try because I noticed these patch notes where Wildfire now happens after 1 second rather than 2. And I know that the Ritualist Blood Boil skill, like, it suffers from a very tiny presence range, and it also had this like terrible delay of stacking your blood boils. I don't know why they're putting these delays like so high up there. Kind of makes them unplayable. But yeah, I noticed that this got bumped down a little bit, but they also did reduce the range of Wildfire, so I don't know, like I wanted to test this interaction, and I did with Wildfire and Fiery Death, just to see what the clear was like on fire builds, and Fiery Death also has a small delay where the corpse has to glow and blow up, or puff before blowing up, I should say. And that just makes it really weird and like uncomfortable. There's the slight upside on this where maybe for things like simulacrums or maybe breaches, the delayed explosion could come in handy, but it's just overall felt pretty terrible, so that's why I didn't include either on either of my builds. They most of the time just feel like celebratory confetti, I guess. Oh, and I mentioned on the Amazon build that I didn't know why Resonating Shield was not being empowered by Warcries, since it's also a melee skill. I just overlooked that it had this line of can't be empowered by Warcries. I don't know why this is here. I really don't. Like, not sure what wonky interaction would be led to this, or would come off of this, but yeah, you can't empower Resonating Shield, so That's that. And then the passive tree is the last thing to look at. It's fairly generic. It's pretty close to the armor explosion titan, except you're not scaling your chance to ailments. The melee is only there for single target. You got your ink AoE stuff, weapon damage, res tech, more weapon damage with slower attack speed, which doesn't matter because we're going for one shots, more AoE, and then we're going for glancing blows plus lay siege for damage and for defenses as well, since we're a shield build. My shield is not ideal. It's got two nice armor rolls, but it's got this increased block chance base. So then the 41 block chance plus glancing blows is already capping my block chance up to 75. But if you had an ideal shield where you didn't have this prefix and you had more armor instead, you'd have to pay to lay siege off of these nodes, and then you'd probably have to invest into a couple of these, but it won't take many to cap your block chance. It's nice that the Titan's hulking form also makes it where you're getting more block chance off of your small nodes. Then the other aspect here is we gotta use Giant's Blood. That's how we get to use the big two-handed mace to deal more damage with armor explosions, but the downside is that you need a hefty amount of strength. If you can get a suffix with reduced requirements, that'll make your life easier, but if not, you'll just have to deal with that. It's good that you have like access to a lot of good strength nodes nearby, and again, because of hulking form, these small nodes are amplified, so you can get a lot of attributes quite quickly. Just a side note, brute strength. I could be taking this, but strength scaling, unlike what dexterity and intelligence has been in the past, is just substantially weaker. So even though I have 400 strength, this amounts to being what, like 25-ish? If that, like a little bit more maybe. So just a generic notable that you can get over here is gonna contest it. It's not very valuable unless you have significant amounts of strength. Maybe later down the line. And then like the one weird thing is that since you're going Avatar of Fire, you can scale these fire nodes, and then you can pick up the increased damage versus ignited enemies because you're tagging monsters with Solar Orb. There's if I had more levels, there's so many nodes nearby that I could pick up, so the damage is gonna keep on track as you progress. Like, you still got access to this. You got some more area damage and AoE on these two nodes. You got a little bit of extra strength and then increased life. You got more magnitude for your ignites off of this branch, which is very powerful. You got another damage versus ignited here. And then you're quite close to where is it? Yeah, I was gonna say this node here. Because of how the damage conversion layers, Avatar of Fire is applied at the same moment as these gain as extra modifiers would. So then your physical skills would profit from this as well. So that's another cluster that you could get. One thing to note is that not only are you going to need substantial amounts of strength, but you're going to need just a sprinkle of intelligence. It's still something that you'll have to scale, but that's what you need in order to get the lowest level of Solar Orb to get this exposure setup. So yeah, that's this nice little character that I put together, which honestly it might have even just been an intended build, so it's not doing anything too insane. Kind of makes me scared that they might end up nerfing the AoE scaling that you can get on Titan, but you know, we'll figure something else out if that happens.